All right, guys, so I just watched Ironheart. This is, of course, the latest MCU Disney Plus series. It follows up from Wakanda Forever, where they introduced Dominique. No, what's her name? Riri Williams. Dominic Thorne is the actress's name. And this is her on her own little story or whatever. And it was honestly surprisingly pretty okay. I was not expecting this to be any good because this was actually a show that they filmed like 3 years ago and they just never released. I honestly don't understand why, because I was going into this going like, oh, they've been hiding this because they know it's not good. But honestly, when you compare Ironheart to things like Echo, Moon Knight, fucking She-Hulk, like this is better than the worst of the worst when it comes to MCU shows on Disney Plus. It's not as good as something like WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, in my opinion, but yeah, I don't really understand why they were hiding this. It's like totally fine. But on that note, I also am of the perspective that where we are at with the MCU in 2025, I don't know if people want MCU projects that are just fine. You know, we just saw with Thunderbolts that audiences don't care about the MCU anymore. Unless you're a shitty multiverse cameo fest movie like Deadpool and Wolverine, or you're like a sequel to like a pre-established thing that people already like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or Wakanda Forever. It feels like audiences don't really care that much anymore. So I wish I could say that this was as good as Thunderbolts. I wish I could say that this was, as good as, not really an MCU thing, but something like Andor, which people are also sick of Star Wars, but at least we could be like, oh no, but this Andor season 2 is really good. I wish I could say this about Ironheart. I can't. So what I'll say is, if you are still into the MCU and you want to learn more about the lore of the MCU, because this does do a decent amount of world building and there are some, big reveals, I would say give Ironheart a shot. It's not going to be the worst MCU show you've ever seen. Also not going to be the best. If you're sick of the MCU, if you're just jaded by it, yeah, this isn't going to be for you. This is not going to be Thunderbolts. This is not going to be Andor. This is not going to be the thing that's going to get a jaded person back in. But on the whole, it's not bad. Dominique Thorne, she plays the lead. She plays Riri Williams. I think she's great. I think she totally carries the show. And what I will say about this is that it does have an emotional core to it that I do appreciate and that I do think is genuinely pretty good. The main problem is that a lot of the stuff outside of that isn't executed as well.